we've been on the Godcraft Adventures server lately. We've been building some things. You can kind of see it there. It's a giant floating castle in the sky. It's pretty cool. Let me see if I can get a better look at it. But Godcraft Adventures is running the Feed the Beast mod, which is something that we're considering doing for the next season of Arcadia. It's pretty cool. And it's basically like Tekkit, but it has some more stuff in it. Something happened here. Anyway. So it's got buildcraft and industrial craft, and as you may have noticed, jetpacks, so you can fly all over the place. Yeah, this is something that we built. It's basically a huge island, a flying island in the sky with a castle on it. And of course, then the area underneath the island is this massive dark forest. Let's fly on up here. So this castle was designed to be big enough to have all of the stuff that we would need to build in it, as well as space to live. And it's set up pretty much like a traditional castle. This is the main area. It's still not complete. Obviously there are some lighting issues. Zombies. This was supposed to be going to be a throne sort of area. So this is the main hall. There's a number of different ways to get up to the top. Like you can go up these towers, which are stairwells, and little. We call it the Castle Druidia, which is kind of a reference. And yeah, there's plenty of monsters in the castle, but that's fine. Potato. This is the living area, the bedroom area. There's 2 bedrooms. Totally unfurnished. We haven't really done much with them, except put the beds in. But this is kind of cool. This would be like the living room, and you have this waterfall sort of window into the central garden, which is here. And then the other bedroom is basically the same, just in reverse. This is the main. This is actually the entrance to the bedrooms here. We kind of went in the back way. There's a balcony here, which is kind of neat. These are the other towers. It's like that on the other side too. Marble steps go up the tower. Go all the way up to the top, where we're on the battlements, and then the main tower here, central tower, which is where all of the machinery and other interesting things are. Get up here, there's quite the view, actually. It goes pretty much beyond what the server can display. I'll put a link to the Godcraft Adventures server in the description, in case you guys are interested in coming over and trying this server out. It's pretty cool. It could use some more users, but it's got a fairly stable user base, I think. This is one of the towers. So got some good views from these towers. We have a mix of trees. We're working on tree breeding, but we haven't got very far with that yet. Back down here. One thing you may have noticed, let's go on the other side of the tower here. That there, that is our experimental crop garden. Let's go in this way. So here we're growing a number of different kinds of plants, trying to breed netherwort, but we ended up with terrawort instead, which is interesting. We have our traditional experimental crop garden setup with the Cropmatron there, a bat box, which is full of power, and a windmill up there to keep it running. And then in this chest here we have all of the things that we need to keep the farm in good condition, and sampling of seeds and other organics that we can use to keep the farm up, and then the little flowers here just for decoration. And of course you may have noticed the little water pools here which keep the farm moist, in addition to the Cropmatron. This is a little walkway that goes over the central garden, which is kind of nice. It also serves as a garden access and entrance to the main tower. We have our flag there, which we were going to put flags on all of the towers, but we just haven't gotten around to that yet. And up there, the glass ceiling, that's the floor of the generator level, which I will show you now. And that's a traditional Argon Labs water vader. But this thing here is a thermopile. It's just encased in iron to keep the materials from escaping. We have a wind generator here. You may be noticing that these wind generators are inside the tower. That's because the altitude here is so high that if we were to put the wind generators outside the tower, they would actually break and fall apart. Keeping them inside the tower actually still allows them to produce quite a bit of energy, but without actually falling apart. And as you can see, this bat box is full. We have an MFE here, which is also full. This thermopile doesn't actually feed power into the bat box. It actually feeds power to a alloy furnace, which is up there. This is kind of a complicated setup, but this is basically our primary power plant. And I can show you more on the next level, which is the primary workshop level. I'll just float on up here. Now we have the signs. These signs are protection signs that prevent people from accessing our materials. So far only me and Heather are allowed. Moog actually isn't on this server. He just didn't seem to be interested when we suggested it, but that's fine. Heather and I have been working. We have this chest is for fuel, so we have methane, lava, biofuel. This power plant is a green power plant. It does not use anything that it basically just uses green power sources. So we have creosote, seed oil, biofuel, lava, which is geothermal, and methane, which we can produce from melons and ground up zombie bits, which we actually use this thing for, the industrial centrifuge. Basically, this thing is really handy. If you put a bunch of zombie bits in there, this isn't enough, but if you put a stack of zombie bits in there, it will produce methane, which is very useful. See if I have some. I can demonstrate how this works. And methane is a very good fuel source. So you do that, and it will separate it out and produce a methane cell. Now that's going to take forever, but I'll show you here. I'll hover over the methane cell. It produces 45k EU in a gas turbine, which is not bad. Of course, we don't need any more energy right now because our MFSU is full, and mostly that's been from just running with a wind generator, or actually the 3 wind generators that we have in here. Eventually we want to have a lightning rod on the roof. That is our current project, although we we don't quite have the machinery that we're going to need for that. We have a timer-driven recycler here, where we just put all the crap that we don't need in. It gets pumped into the recycler here. Yes. These switches just control power flow. Best to leave them as they are. This thing here is an industrial electrolyzer, which uses a lot of power. So we only use that if we've got a lot of energy, which we do right now. And this is our industrial blast furnace. We have the cables color-coded so that we don't have cables and machinery exploding when the wrong kind of voltages pass through them. So as you see, red is high voltage, yellow is medium voltage, and green is low voltage. And provided that these are all actually colored properly, we won't have any problems with overvoltage. And this is where we store all of our raw materials for technology. There's some in here too. We've got a number of different chemical compounds that we've created from various processes, the electrolyzer and the industrial centrifuge. So this takes a while. It's only halfway done. So the experimental crop garden out here has provided us with some fuel, but the majority of our fuel comes from the levels above this one, which I will show you now. Oh, well, this level is our magic level. We have alchemy here and enchanting here. This obviously is not fully upgraded yet. We need to add some more bookshelves. And then eventually we want to have this high voltage cable come up here, and we'll put some high voltage machinery up here. Up here we have the sugar plantation with some flax too, just because it seemed to fit. So whenever we need flax and sugar, we can just come up here and there's plenty of it, which is good for fuel. We can, I think, yes, we can use sugar for fuel. Above that, on a suspended platform, or kind of a suspended sort of thing here, we have wheat farms. So that we also use for fuel. Above that, we have a mixed farm with melons, pumpkins, potatoes, carrots, and cocoa. So we have cocoa. These beams here are designed to support cocoa, so we can grow tons of cocoa up there. I don't think we can use cocoa for fuel. It'd be cool if we could. A chocolate factory. Chocolate powered factory. And then of course up here we have our cactus farm, which you can't really go through without cutting it down, because it's ow. Yeah. Anyway, cactus farm. And then up here, if I can get the positioning right, this is the roof. There's nothing really up here right now, but we want to put the lightning rod up here and then some other crazy stuff. This will probably be where we do most of the really insane experimental crap. Good view. Yeah, you can see pretty much the whole area. Whoop! Oh no! Fortunately, I have a jetpack and nano boots on, so I don't take too much falling damage, or any actually. And then there is the area around Druidia, the floating island itself, which is pretty much set up to be kind of like a nature preserve sort of thing. So there's this little, there's probably a zombie around here too. There's this kind of icy, frozen little, I don't even know what you would call this sort of thing. It's got a little waterfall in it, kind of like a little park sort of thing, which is nice. We've got trees over here. You may have noticed the apiaries. They're not doing very much right now. Lots of different kinds of trees and flowers, grasses and things. And then on this side, this area is actually built in the intersection of 3 different biomes. So that's kind of cool. And we have apiaries in each of the biomes. So a little bit of water here. We were using that for water bees. And then the front of the castle, hitting a creeper with a baked potato, not terribly effective. The front of the castle here is mostly open. And then down here, of course, the rest of the world. Kind of a big drop there, but the Undercroft of Castle Druidia is kind of a cool place. You go down here. This used to be a storage room, but it's got this window so you can see down. And there's part of the Undercroft there. That button is there in case the door gets closed on you when you're down here. Now the Undercroft, of course, is haunted, or it's inhabited by monsters. So, and this is kind of like an underground grotto. This kind of stuff is pretty typical. I build this sort of stuff all the time. But yeah, monsters. Monsters all over the place down here. But yeah, it's kind of cool. Little place to go when you want to kind of take a break or kill some monsters, whatever. So, way to get to the mine. Obviously, you need a jetpack to even get up here, so, but we just fall down here and land with the jetpack. Now, over here, this giant area of darkness is the Dark Forest. This is directly underneath Castle Druidia, and it's full of monsters, so we won't go in there. If you want to explore the Dark Forest and farm it for experience, well, you'll just have to join the Godcraft Adventures server. There's some interesting things in there to find. Well, kind of interesting. But it's basically full of monsters. Livestock pen. Bunch of cows. Yeah. And this is the mine. This was where we were living before we built the castle. And so we have some beds down here. Basic refining machinery. We moved most of the machinery up to the castle. And we just left stuff in here for basic refining. There's an MFE in here, and an extractor. And, this is the farm, our original farm, where we were basically growing the food that we needed for the mine. And this is our blast furnace. Okay, apparently somebody is playing with force fields. Yeah, coke oven. We use coke for fuel as well. I'm not sure if we actually had any in the tower or the castle. This is a peat farm because you can use peat for fuel. It's better to use in the peat fired engines. Peat fried. This is our carpenter where we make apiaries. We can make other things with it too. A squeezer for seed oil. Some of this stuff we still need to move up to the tower. Oh, and if you're wondering, this grassy area here is for doing this. Kind of a cheesy way to get seeds and flowers, but it works. Anyhow, rubber farm. So come in here with some tree taps and you get a ton of rubber. We've got tree taps in here. Kind of need more. Why are there melons in here? What? There don't need to be melons in the... Okay, never mind. So anyway, that's that. That's our supply level. We had some reeds here. This is all what we used before before we moved up to the tower. So we had some stuff in here. As you can see, we've been doing a lot of mining, and you'll see more evidence of that as we go further down. We needed to do a lot of mining to build that tower. You can imagine something that size required a lot of stone and marble. Well, it did. A lot. This entire area was completely full of rock and marble. I mean, we just dug straight down into solid rock. Obviously, it's not solid rock anymore. And we found a few things down here, like this, a zombie spawner. We used some Arcadian technology, actually, to make this zombie spawner work. If you get too close, yeah. You may recognize from our Arcadia series the red lightning. Yeah. We call it Arcadian technology. It's actually just what is it? Wireless disruptor. Anyway, there's a zombie spawner in there, and the zombies get killed by a wireless jammer. And then they're... Oh, ow, ow, ow. Yeah, you don't want to get too close to that thing. Yeah. But anyway, you pick up the stuff there. So what we can do then is we can sit here or just mine in the area, and zombies will die and their bits get sucked into this chest, and then we can take those up and make methane out of them. Pretty useful. This is a supply chest. The main reason this is here is so you can put all your valuable stuff in it and then go through this. Another portal. That way, if all your valuables are in this chest, you don't lose them in the nether. Which is kind of useful. And you know where they are. So it's not like you have to go looking for them. There's also food in that chest because, you know, might need food in the nether. And some flint and steel, which is useful in the nether. If you don't have torches, you can just light the ground on fire. It's a little risky, but whatever. So this is our mine. It's a little bit overgrown, as you know, a result of me. I tend to plant things wherever I go. And there's mushrooms and vines and trees. It's nice down here, and there's melons growing, so that's kind of cool. If you run out of food while you're mining, well, just find a melon, harvest it. Suppose you can't eat the pumpkins yet. There's mushrooms too that you can eat. Let's see. The mines are pretty extensive. We've had to mine out a lot of rock to build the fortress. There's another passageway over there. Down there, that goes somewhere. That's kind of cool. It's a borehole that goes straight through to something. Oh, beehive. Stone bees, which we already have plenty of. So we're underneath Druidia. If we look up, yeah, there it is. So that there is the floating island in the sky. So this chasm runs underneath Druidia, and it's a great place to do mining. There are many dark and twisting passageways, and surely full of danger. Anyway, you can just fly straight up into the dark forest. Traditional Argon symbol there. Well, it's the symbol that I use. It doesn't actually mean anything. Oop. They're shooting at me. I put that thing everywhere I build. Well, people who know me know what that means. Anyway, dark forest, ooh, scary, big mushrooms, yeah, and lots of monsters. Yeah, they're chasing me, creeper. So this is kind of a cool little area. There are plenty of areas like this. There are a lot of, there's still a lot of space. There are rules, and there is an approval process that you have to pass to actually get on the server. That's to keep out the riffraff. But you go through that, and you can build your own stuff. And they have extra biomes, as you may have noticed if you're familiar with the extra biomes mod. We have a temperate rainforest here, and this kind of a cool little area that we've built our mine and everything in. And this all runs underneath the Druidia floating island. So, we may even consider allowing people to move into the castle, or near the castle. We've built this thing to be expandable, so we can expand the main island as necessary and build additional towers and living spaces on them. But it kind of depends on the server. If we actually need people on the server who would be interested in living here. So I don't know. We might consider it. It just depends. Eventually, we're going to be pretty busy with the next season of Arcadia. So I don't know how active we'll be on Godcraft Adventures. But it's still a pretty cool place to come and check out and just tour for yourself if you want. And we do welcome visitors, so you get yourself a jetpack and you can come over here and fly up and check out the place. Just don't take our stuff, because you shouldn't be able to anyway, because those chests are all protected. If you find a chest that's not protected, well, you can have some of that, but no griefing and all that. It's pretty much typical server rules. Most of the Druidia main stuff is protected by a protection block anyway. So, but yeah, come and check out the area and maybe build somewhere nearby.